Have you ever woken up, stared at the ceiling, and whispered to yourself, "Is this it?" You're doing all the things right, working hard, showing up, ticking the boxes, but something feels off. Like you're running on a treadmill, lots of movement, but no direction. That feeling? It's not failure, it's not laziness, it's not you being lost. It's a sign, a signal, a sacred pause. In this episode, we are diving deep into that stuck feeling, where it comes from, what it's trying to tell you, and how finally to move forward with clarity, confidence, and calm. If you've ever felt like life was on hold, this one's for you. We live in a culture obsessed with forward momentum. Social media bombards us with highlight reels. Hustle culture tells us that if we are not constantly grinding, we are falling behind. Then there's the pressure we put on ourselves, the expectations, the timelines, the milestones we think we should have reached by now. No wonder so many of us feel stuck. We're measuring ourselves against impossible standards. But what if I told you that this discomfort, this restlessness, isn't a sign that you are doing something wrong? What if it's actually a sign that you're ready for more? Here's something I wish someone told me years ago. You're not lazy, you're shifting. You're not stuck, you are shifting. Feeling stuck isn't always a problem. It's often a pause before the pivot. Think about nature. Before a seed sprouts, it sits in the dark. Before the sunrise, there is stillness. Before transformation, there's tension. The stuckness you're feeling, it's your soul saying, "What got us here won't get us there." It's the discomfort that precedes clarity. But if you numb it with distractions, deny it with busyness, or drown it with overthinking, you miss the magic. So today, give yourself permission to listen. Let's talk about why we feel stuck. Understanding the root helps us respond effectively. First, there's misalignment, where your daily activities don't match your deeper values. Then there's growth without acknowledgement. You've outgrown your circumstances but haven't admitted it yet. Decision fatigue plays a role too. Too many options can leave us paralyzed at the crossroads. And fear of the unknown keeps us in familiar discomfort rather than facing uncertain possibilities. But here's what matters. That stuck feeling isn't a character flaw. It's not weakness or indecision. It's vital signal from your deeper self saying, "Pay attention. Something needs to change." Next time you feel that restlessness, take a deep breath and ask, "What's this feeling trying to tell me? What part of my life is asking for attention? What truth am I avoiding?" When you listen, really listen to that discomfort, it often carries the seed of your next evolution. When I started understanding why I felt stuck, I realized I needed a system, something gentle but powerful, something that didn't require me to overhaul my life in a day. That's where the RESET framework comes handy. Reset is a simple 5-step path to momentum. The R stands for reflect without judgment. E, examine your environment. S, set micro goals. E, it's about embracing progress, not perfection. And T is to take intentional action. Now let's go through each of these. The R in reset is reflect without judgment. Most of us avoid reflection. Why? Because we are scared of what we'll find. But growth starts with awareness. Take 10 minutes today. Ask yourself, what's draining me? What's giving me energy? What do I secretly want? Don't judge the answers. Just witness them. Awareness isn't weakness, it's the birthplace of transformation. Think of yourself as a compassionate researcher, studying your own experience with genuine curiosity. I notice I feel drained after these meetings. I wonder why. Or maybe I keep thinking about painting even though I haven't touched a brush in years. What might that mean? Well, these observations aren't problems to solve, they're clues to follow. The next is the E in reset. Examine your environment. Your environment speaks louder than your motivation. Look around. Are you surrounded by people who uplift or drain you? Do your daily routines inspire or numb you? Sometimes it's not that you are broken, it's the environment you're tolerating. Clean one corner of your room. Block that energy vampire on social. Take yourself to a space that breathes life into your mind. Research shows we absorb the energy, beliefs, and behaviors of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Who are your 5 people? Are they dreamers or doers? Or complainers and critics? The same goes for your physical spaces. Do they energize you or deplete you? Do they reflect who you are becoming or who you used to be? Digital environment matters too. The content you consume, the accounts you follow, the notifications that interrupt your thoughts all shape your mental landscape. Start small. Choose one aspect of your environment that you have control over and adjust it to better support your growth. The S in reset stands for set micro goals. I need to change everything is a recipe for burnout. I'll do one small thing today is how you build a new life. Instead of I need a new job, say I'll update my LinkedIn headline. Instead of I want to be healthier, say I'll drink 2 glasses of water before coffee. Small wins, stacked daily, become unstoppable. Big goals can be overwhelming. They activate our fear response, which can shut down the creative problem-solving parts of our brain. Micro goals work because they bypass that fear response. They're manageable, doable. They don't trigger resistance. Here's how to set effective micro goals. Identify the large change that you want to make. Then break it down into smallest possible actions that would move you in that direction. Want to write a book? Start with writing 1 sentence a day. Want to launch a business? Begin by spending 10 minutes researching similar businesses. Want to improve your relationship? Send 1 thoughtful text to that person every morning. Make these goals so small they seem almost laughably easy. Set yourself up for success. Pro tip: attach your micro goal to an existing habit. This is called habit stacking, and it ensures consistency. After I brush my teeth, I'll do 1 push-up. Or after I pour my coffee, I'll write down 3 ideas. Now let's look at the E in reset. It's embrace progress, not perfection. You don't need to get it right, you just need to get it going. Post that imperfect video, start the blog, take the course. The goal is not to be flawless, it's to be in motion. Remember, consistency beats intensity. Perfectionism masquerades as high standards, but it's really fear wearing a fancy disguise. I've seen so many talented people stay stuck simply because they're waiting to feel ready or for the conditions to be perfect. Readiness is a myth. Clarity comes through action, not before it. Think about learning to ride a bike. You don't master it by studying the bicycle mechanics. You learn by getting on the bike, falling off, getting back on, and eventually finding your balance. When you embrace progress over perfection, you give yourself permission to be a beginner, to be messy, to make mistakes. And paradoxically, this is what allows you to eventually achieve the quality you're aiming for. Ask yourself, what have you been postponing until you feel ready? What's one small imperfect step you could take today? Finally, the T in reset is take intentional action. Not just any action, aligned action. Ask, is this what I'm doing today aligned to who I want to become? If not, tweak it. Every day is a brick in your future. Lay it with intention. There's a critical difference between being busy and being productive, between motion and progress, between activity and intentional action. Many of us fall into productive procrastination, doing tasks that feel important but don't actually move us forward toward our true goals. We organize our email when we should be working on our business plan. We research endlessly when we should be creating. Intentional action means aligning your daily activities with your deeper priorities. It means asking yourself regularly, is this moving me toward who I want to become? Or is it just keeping me busy? Before taking on a new commitment or planning your day, pause and ask, does this align with my direction? This filter helps you decline, delegate, or deprioritize things that don't serve your growth. Remember, you don't need massive steps every day. Small, consistent, intentional actions aligned to your values create powerful momentum over time. Well, then now there's a next question. Why most people stay stuck and how can they break free? Well, we all know the quotes. Fear or feel the fear and do it anyway. Just start, just do it. But here's the truth. Most people don't stay stuck because they are lazy. They stay stuck because they are afraid. Here are 3 hidden fears keeping people frozen. The fear of judgment. What will people think? Here's a secret. Most people are too busy judging themselves to think about you. Start anyway. As social creatures, we are wired to care about our standing in the group. But in our modern context, this biological wiring often works against us. The irony is that those who seem to judge us most harshly are often wrestling with their own insecurities. Their criticism reflects their relationship with themselves more than their assessment of you. Those who truly love you want to see you thrive, even if your choices surprise them. They may need time to adjust, but they'll come around. When paralyzed by fear of judgment, try this reframe. Would I rather disappoint others or disappoint myself? The answer guides you back to your own truth. After the fear of judgment, here's number 2. That's the fear of failure. What if I try and it doesn't work? What if you don't try and nothing ever changes? You can always pivot. You can always restart, but you can't rewind time. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. Every significant achievement is built on attempts that quite didn't work. When we redefine failure as feedback, it loses power over us. Each attempt teaches us something valuable about ourselves, about the process, about what works and what doesn't. The real failure isn't in trying and missing the mark. It's never trying at all. It's staying safe but small. It's in reaching the end of your life wondering, what if I had taken that chance? Well, then there is the fear of losing identity. We often label ourselves and say, I've always been the reliable one, the achiever, the quiet one. Sometimes these labels we cling on to are the ones that limit us most. Outgrowing our past self isn't betrayal, it's becoming. Identity shapes our choices, our relationships, and even our capabilities. But it can also become a cage. Maybe you've built an identity around being the responsible one or the caretaker. What happens when you want to prioritize your own needs? When you want to take a risk? Or perhaps you've defined yourself by what you do, the professional, the parent, the partner. What happens when circumstances change? When you want to explore new aspects of yourself? Shedding an old identity isn't betrayal, it's growth. It's honoring your natural evolution. You're not your roles or achievements or your past choices. You're constantly evolving, being with the capacity to reinvent yourself at any moment. When resistance arises because that's just not who I am, ask yourself, according to whom? Based on what evidence? What if I could be more than I've allowed myself to be? So, here are a few daily habits that will help you unlock momentum. As they say, transformation doesn't require a sabbatical, it requires tiny habits done daily. And here are 5. 1. Morning stillness. Before the scroll, before the chaos, breathe, ask, what do I want to feel today? Set your state before the world sets it for you. Most of us reach for phones immediately upon waking, handing over our mental real estate to whoever demands it first. By the time we are fully awake, we are already reacting to others' priorities. Instead, create a pocket of stillness first thing. Even 5 minutes can be transformative. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, feel your body. Notice your thoughts without getting caught up in them. Then set an intention. How do you want to feel? What quality do you want to embody? What matters most today? This simple practice puts you back in the driver's seat of your experience. The next habit that unlocks momentum is create before you consume. Write one line, say one idea, sketch one thought. When you create first, you shape your day. You're not reacting, you're responding. We live in an age of unprecedented consumption. When you constantly consume without creating, you're filling a cup that's already overflowing. Before checking social media or email, create something. Write a paragraph, sketch a drawing, record a voice note with an idea. It doesn't need to be good or shared. The act itself matters. This small shift changes your relationship with information. Instead of being a passive consumer, you become an active participant in your own life. The next habit is move daily. Walk, dance, stretch. Your body holds energy. Movement unlocks clarity. Movement isn't just about fitness, it's a powerful tool for shifting energy, clearing mental blocks, and accessing new perspectives. Solutions often come during a walk. A dance break can completely change your mood. That's not coincidence. Movement literally changes your brain chemistry. You don't need intense workout. Try movement snacks, short bursts of physical activity between tasks. Stretch between meetings. Take a quick walk when stuck on a problem. Dance while making dinner. When you feel mentally or emotionally stuck, physical movement can often create the shift you need. The next habit is celebrate micro wins. Every night ask, what did I do well today? What did I try? What's the one thing I'm proud of? Progress grows when it's noticed. We are wired to focus on what's wrong or missing. This negativity bias served our ancestors' survival but keeps us feeling insufficient now. Celebrating small wins counteracts this bias. It trains your brain to recognize progress and builds momentum through positive reinforcement. We are talking about tiny steps forward, speaking up in a meeting when you usually stay silent, trying a new approach to a problem, simply showing up on a difficult day. These moments matter. When acknowledged, they become evidence that you're capable of change. They build self-trust and create positive momentum. End each day acknowledging what went well. What small victories can you recognize? What efforts can you appreciate regardless of the outcome? The next habit, that's habit number 5, is say yes to something new weekly. Attend the class, call the friend, visit that event. New inputs is equal to new outputs. Growth loves novelty. Attend the class, call the friend, visit that event. New inputs is equal to new outputs. Growth loves novelty. Routine provides stability, but too much sameness creates stagnation. Your brain needs novel experiences to form new neural connections. This doesn't mean bungee jumping. Novelty can be just taking a different route home, trying a new cuisine, reading outside your usual genre, or reaching out to someone you don't know well. Start small. If novelty feels overwhelming, choose one new experience weekly that stretches you slightly. Notice what these experiences teach you about yourself and what you value. Growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone, not at its center. Mindset is the engine. If it's running old programs, no new strategy will stick. So here are 5 powerful shifts. I'm not behind, I'm becoming. Comparison kills momentum. You're not late, you're in progress. The toxic myth of a universal timeline makes us feel perpetually behind. But human development isn't linear. Life isn't a race. Your timeline is valid. Your process is valid. The challenges and detours have shaped you in necessary ways. Trust that you are where you need to be to learn what you need to learn. Trust your journey is unfolding. Well, after I'm not behind, I'm becoming, the next point is clarity comes from action. Waiting to feel ready keeps you waiting forever. So take the step, clarity will follow. We think the sequence goes clarity first, then action, but reality usually works in reverse. Action first, then clarity. Clarity emerges from engagement with the world, from testing ideas, from encountering feedback. When stuck because you do not know what to do, the solution isn't more thinking, it's taking one small step and seeing what you can learn. You don't need to see the entire staircase, just enough light for the next step. Once taken, you will see the next one. Well, the next point is messy is okay. Some days will feel off. Keep showing up anyway. Progress isn't linear, it's layered. Real growth includes setbacks, confusion, resistance, and plateaus. The messiness isn't wrong. It's natural in meaningful change. Think how a tree grows, not in a straight line, but responding to its environment, sometimes growing sideways before growing up. Yet over time, it becomes more fully itself. Trust the larger arc of your growth, even when the day-to-day feels chaotic. Well, the next point you can think about is I can love people and still outgrow them. You're not abandoning anyone. You're honoring your next chapter. Permission granted. As you change, relationships naturally shift. Some people may resist your growth, creating guilt and conflict. But you can love people deeply and still outgrow certain relationships or dynamics. Those who truly love you, even if they struggle with your changes initially, ultimately want your authentic growth. Trust that relationships meant for your next chapter will evolve with you. Those that don't may have served their purpose. Well, another point you can consider is this is not the end. This is a pivot, not a period. You're evolving, not ending. What feels like an ending is almost always a turning point. What appears final, a relationship ending, a job loss, is clearing space for something new. What feels like being stuck is a necessary pause before a significant shift. This doesn't minimize real grief or discomfort, but alongside them, hold awareness that your story continues, that you are still becoming, that there are chapters ahead you cannot yet imagine. Let this land in your heart. You are not broken, not behind, not invisible. You are in transition. And transitions are uncomfortable, but they're also powerful. They are the space where the old dissolves and the new begins. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need the next inch. So take it. Use the reset framework. Reflect without judgment. Examine your environment. Set micro goals. Embrace progress, not perfection. And T is take intentional action. Breathe into your power. Ask for help if you need to. Above all, believe in your becoming. Because the world doesn't need a perfect version of you, it needs the real, rising, resilient you.